Hello, quick update here before the end of the year. It is December 28th, and wanted to just touch base with all of you to let you know a little of what's going on here before we can thankfully say goodbye to 2020 and look forward to what should be a far better year, I hope, in 2021. So some of the updates I've got. In the last video I had posted, I had advised you guys that I had sent certified correspondence to both the county executive and the mayor's office, offering myself up to come in and help craft a solution to the problem that many small landlords and landlords with a focus on lower income housing and the challenges that we're facing this year. I have not heard back from either party, although it's not surprising with it being the holiday season. I sent those out on December 8th. And according to the USPS tracking website, the county executive received that letter on the 10th at 12:38 p.m. And I guess what shouldn't shock anybody anymore, with it being 2020, the post office has been, still shows my letter in transit to City Hall. Now, granted, I dropped this thing off down the street from my office at the Blossom Road Post Office, and I think it's maybe 5 miles to City Hall from here. I think I could have walked the thing there and back twice in the time that they've had it, but it is what it is. So I'll probably be sending out another certified correspondence after the first if I find that the USPS can't seem to get this one delivered that was sent out several weeks ago. So that's the update. Not really much of an update there, but wanted to let you know what's going on. Secondly is something that I'm seeing, and I think a lot of you are also seeing, is that Rochester City Court is now automatically adjourning any non-payment eviction hearings that were previously scheduled. So I had started a handful of evictions here several weeks ago. I was granted dates of early January for hearings and for court, and the city courts now are just automatically adjourning these things out. The one I've got in front of me right here is out to March 2nd. I've got a few back there, I think, that are out to the end of end of February rather, but it looks like it's essentially a 60-day adjournment on these, which I find extremely frustrating. As I mentioned before, I'm not looking to evict anyone who's been actually affected by COVID. You know, I've got people that are behind and I'm working with them. It's the people that I know have had absolutely nothing impact them negatively, at least with regards to finances. They're collecting SSI or SSDI, and they're just choosing not to pay rent because that they know that the recourse that I have as a landlord is really ineffective, if existent at all. So what I don't understand, and I'd love for somebody maybe from the city courts to call me or get in touch with me, if these people are being impacted by COVID, then have them show up to the court and show that they're being impacted by COVID. And if they do that, there's a good chance that I may say I'll postpone it. If they're actually being affected by COVID, I want to work with them. I understand what life has its challenges, but they're not even forcing anybody to show up and prove anything. It's just automatically adjourn it. We're going to push this thing out 60 days, and we'll see what happens down the road. So I'm beginning to lose confidence in the only system that I have as a landlord to pursue justice for me. So I don't quite understand why the auto adjourning on these things, but I would be thrilled if somebody could pick up the phone or shoot me an email, let me know, or heck, even have a court hearing, let me stop in myself. That's the other thing is they didn't ask me. They didn't have there was no consultation with the landlord to say, hey, we're going to adjourn this thing. We don't get a chance to be heard. It's just automatically kicked down the road. Although, as I do understand it, I think they'll still drag in for a traffic ticket or for a parking ticket. So if it's revenue for the city, the courts are open. If it's any other issue, we'll talk to you later. And I think that's garbage. One of the other things, speaking of garbage, that I was happy to see is it looks like another industry's had enough. A couple of the restaurateurs here in Rochester, one of which I featured on videos of my own, Josh Miles and his wife Jenna, but also Chuck and the Swans. I have never had a chance to meet the Swans. I hope I get a chance to. And if they ever allow them to open their restaurants again, I'll stop in and grab a drink and something to eat. But they did put a petition together regarding Save Rochester Restaurants and Bars, and I'm hoping that they're getting an overwhelming response. I know I signed my name to it. I'm going to put a link below for the petition if you want to check it out, if you'd like to sign it yourself. But I'm going to read you the letter quick that they put along with it, so I'll put this up on the screen while I read through it to you. It says, Save Rochester Restaurants and Bars. With the uncertain landscape laid out before us, survival of the Rochester restaurants you value is a measure of weeks. The culture we maintain and the jobs we provide are two things at risk of disappearing as the lights go dark. As of November 25th, Rochester restaurants and bars in the heart of our city have been prohibited from offering indoor dining. This restriction violates employee and operator rights, takes away the crucial core of their business, and has forced the layoff of thousands of employees across Monroe County. It crushes these employees' and operators' abilities to earn a livelihood. Restaurants and bars have shown relentless commitment to doing their part in reducing the spread of COVID-19 through following various safety protocols over the past 10 months. Despite New York State's own data, which demonstrates that restaurants and bars account for less than 1.5% of all infections, Governor Cuomo has instituted prejudicial rules that have hundreds of local food and drink establishments facing the reality of closing in the coming weeks. Instead of developing a plan that would allow restaurants to continue to operate safely and survive until restrictions can be lifted, the restaurant and bar industry has been unfairly targeted without any meaningful form of financial relief and without any substantive benefit to the health of society. State and county yellow/orange zone designations have shut down a large area of Greater Rochester while allowing restaurants in the suburbs to continue to serve indoor patrons. Our industry agrees to comply with sensible rules that help us do our part as business in controlling the spread of COVID-19, but demand the removal of discriminatory restrictions on our job-creating venues, restrictions that are destroying the local restaurant and bar industry. We demand a plan and the right to reopen. So I think, what we're seeing here once again is that New York State Legislature, the governor, they're not putting any thought behind these plans, these moratoriums, these shutdowns, these various colored zones. They seem to be doing something for the sake of saying that they're doing something, and what they're doing is hurting the hell out of an awful lot of people out here. And they're going to destroy these businesses. Not only if you destroy a restaurant, you don't just destroy that business for the people that are immediately working there. It's all the people that supply them. There are thousands upon thousands of jobs that supply and assist both the restaurant and the rental property industry. And if you start destroying these people, they're going to go away and they're not going to come back. Or what's going to happen is we're going to concentrate a number of these businesses into an even smaller number of hands. Therefore, concentrating wealth and having a negative impact, across the Rochester area and New York. So I'm advocating for some sense to be restored back to some of these things. I'm hoping that a lot of people sign this petition. The restaurant industry is something that we can't afford to lose, just like we cannot afford to lose landlords and those that supply, especially the low-income housing, the area that needs the most investment here locally. So until 2021, I'll leave you with this. Thankfully, 2021 is only a few days away. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait to be done with 2020. And I'm very optimistic that maybe we will bring some sense and some rational thought back into these policies. I don't know if Governor Cuomo is able to do that. He may not be. And if that's the case, we need to elect him out quickly when it's his time. But we need our local governments to start standing up and advocating for us, because they are the sales tax, the property tax collecting entities. They are the people that are going to get hurt the most. And they're the ones that are the closest to us. So you would hope that they would be adding to our voices and not working against us. So keep sharing your stories. Reach out if you've got any thoughts, questions, concerns. I'll do my best to help you out as much as I can. And Happy New Year, folks. Let's get to 2021 and hope it's a better one. See you soon.